Hello, it is me, Ashley, or Ash, whichever you prefer to call me. Don't forget the extra E or I'm going to kill you. Now, you're probably thinking, what kind of video is this gonna be? It's a video of me rambling like a fucking idiot, if you will. So let's say you guys are new. This is your first time hearing about me. Again, my name is Ashley, or you could just call me Ash for short if you want. I'm a trans male to female, and I'm simply just living life the best I can. If you guys have known me for a while, whether it be from Discord, Twitch, YouTube, wherever you know me from, you could tell I have my origins, and to say the least, most of them I don't really like talking about for obvious reasons. But I kind of want to touch a little more on how I'm doing now, essentially. Think of this more of like a checkup video for 2021. As we all know, 2020 was a pretty shit year, obviously. And so far, 2021 is doing okay-ish for me. I mean, it's not the best, but it's definitely doing a lot better in comparison to what fucking 2020 was, so I can't really complain too much. And I'm basically going to be talking about some things that have changed a lot for me these past couple of months and whatnot, and it kind of translates into what 2020 was doing to me as well. So if you guys want to go ahead and just, continue hearing me ramble, kick back, relax, maybe crack open a bag of cocaine, I don't know. Do you? I don't judge. But we'll start off with talking about Texas bullshit. Yes, I live in Texas, and a lot of stuff kind of happened, if you will. The first thing that happened was around February, where we got quite a bit of snow and ice. Keep in mind that Texas rarely gets snow. Like, I honestly don't remember the last time we had snow. At least snow that stuck, at least. Like, even if we usually get like snow, it usually is like not that much, or it melts like the next couple hours or so. But this stayed, and I'm not talking for like 1 or 2 days. No. It was like, holy shit, probably 4 days, I think. And here's the thing, it started like icing on certain roads before it started snowing, and there was like a bunch of wrecks and shit going on, which, obviously is terrifying to think about. So that's kind of been happening. I remember so vividly that I was at work and my manager was telling me how she was looking up on the news about how shit was happening on the roads like that. And I was just like, no way, really? So yeah, that's definitely something. But there's also the other thing, which at first I thought was just a thing for United States, but no, it's a Texas thing, where apparently we're not allowed to enforce masks. I don't really know how that works, actually. So like the place where I work, which is like a small kid's place, by the way. I won't state any names, I'm just gonna say it's a small kid's place, but we used to make it to where masks were required for anybody who is the age of 10 or above. Now, they are not required, they're just only heavily encouraged. We're in the middle of a fucking pandemic. Who thought this was a good idea? I mean, anyone who thought it was a good idea is clearly not smart, but I mean, I don't think I really had to tell anyone that. It's just kind of common sense at this point, But anyways, yeah, that's kind of all for Texas. I mean, other than those two things, nothing really much has happened, at least as far from my knowledge, at the very least. The next thing we're going to be talking about is me being trans and whatnot. Like I stated before, I am male to female, and, being males, it exists, But I want to basically just touch a bit about the lack of progress I'm not on... Fuck, what is it called? I'm looking it up. But anyways, no, I'm not, like, taking any of the yes and the yes and... Look, I am not in any way, shape, or form doing any good progress in what I'm doing. The most I've been doing was voice training, and even then, it's bad. My voice is still, like, really bad, and I rarely train it. So, like, at that point, it's kind of my own fault. But it doesn't help that, like, other than my online friends, the people in real life who know about me being trans is my mother, brother, cousin, aunt. That's it. Well, I think my grandmother, but I don't know if she remembers that. In other words, anybody else who I know in real life, like my dad, my grandfather, my uncle, all those other people, they don't know jack diddly fuck about me. And it's great, totally. It's totally great to just hear my name that I don't like hearing, and I'm just sitting back just like, yep, that's me. Fuck. And again, it's my fault, of course. I mean, me not doing anything about it, I mean, what did I expect, truly? The thing is, I don't really have a way of getting myself out there. Like, the only way my mom found out in the first place was because of a fucking Instagram post. How? As for my brother and cousin, I just told them outright. And by that I mean I gave Jordan a book and quill in Minecraft. So yeah, that's totally great. That's totally great. But maybe in the future, maybe in 2021 or maybe next year, I don't know, I'll start making better progress. Or at the very least, have a lot of progress done. We'll see, we'll see. It's all dependent on what really happens, to be fair. So we'll see how it pans out from there. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is my recent addiction to single-player games. If you guys have seen some of my content in the past days, you would know that I used to play a lot of multiplayer games and used to play with a lot of people. Nowadays, however, I mainly stream only single-player games. For example, many recent games I've been playing was Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 7, Yakuza 0, Doom Eternal, Nier Automata, and just, you know, many other games that are just single-player oriented. Now, why is this exactly? Why am I playing more single-player games than I used to play with multiplayer games back then? And to be honest, there's kind of multiple reasons. I'll start with the first one being I just personally feel more immersed in single-player games, if that makes sense. I like games with really cool stories or really fun gameplay mechanics and whatnot. And unlike a multiplayer game, in order to actually get into a single-player game, all you gotta do is launch the game. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You just launch the game, choose whatever mode you want to do, and just you're in, you're playing, you're good. As for multiplayer stuff, you gotta, you know, get everybody all set up and everything, and especially if you're someone who's friends with people from different time zones or different work schedules or whatever, you can't guarantee you'll get everybody in. It's kind of embarrassing how that works. Another reason being I just personally like single-player games more, in a way. I don't like relying on like multiplayer elements or anything. I just like simply learning a game, and it's hard to explain. It's like it kind of feels cool just to learn all this stuff by myself and just like do things my own way and whatnot without having anyone to tell me what's what. And yeah, there's that, of course. Don't get me wrong, I don't dislike playing multiplayer games or anything. I mean, hell, I've recently been playing a lot of Monster Hunter Rise with some friends. That's always fun, you know, especially since that's somehow more fun than Monster Hunter World, but then again, anything's more fun than Monster Hunter World, so that doesn't say a lot. But the last reason, and I guess the more contributing reason, I am not doing good with talking to people these days. So, my past, alright? I used to play VR chat a lot. I'm sure you guys probably know me from that, and you probably unsubscribed when you realized I stopped playing the game. I had to call y'all out on it, come on. But I originally wanted to play that game so I can build my social skills a lot better. And, well, it was working at the time. Know how I said at the time. Recently I've been slowing down on wanting to talk to people. Even my greatest friends, like, I don't really go into VCs with them too often. Aside from Eve and Webb on occasions. But it's like, oh, and of course, like, Trey and Dinah and my cousin Jordan, Brendan, of course. But the thing is, even with those people, I still don't sometimes join them, you know? I'll see them in like a VC or whatever, and I'll think, maybe I should join them. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it's better if I'm alone. Sometimes I just like being alone, really. It's quite fitting, really, considering my title I gave myself is literally Blackheart Rogue, you know. Rogue. Usually interpreted as like one individual, but you know. So yeah, I guess there's that. Alright, time to get into more depressing shit. Oh fuck. You guys knew that this was gonna happen eventually, but here we go. This one is kind of a major issue I've been dealing with. Actually for a long time now, probably since I was like, maybe when I was 12, mayhap? And it is not forgiving myself. I've made a lot of mistakes in the past. Lots and lots of fucking mistakes. I won't go into a lot of them because some of them are personal and some of them I just genuinely don't want to mention because either it's whatever English words. And the thing is, most if not all of my mistakes that I've made I've been forgiven for those, you know? Either if it was like I accidentally hurt somebody, or I almost did, or whatever, or if I just fucked up and it was just inconvenient for other people, you know, they forgave me and it wasn't a big deal or anything. The thing is though, even though they have forgiven me, I never have. There are some things to this day, even back when I was like probably around fucking 7 or 8, that I still haven't forgiven myself before, like still to this day. Did you guys know that I almost threw Brendan through a screen door one day when I was a young kid? Yeah, I still haven't forgiven myself for that. There's a lot of things I have forgiven myself for, believe me. But still, there's a lot of other things that I have not forgiven myself for, and it sucks. It sucks to say the least, because I feel I should be able to do something about it, but I cannot. I cannot. But there is that as well. I'm working to try to get better at that. No promises, of course, but I guess that could also be said for everything else I've mentioned that I've said that I'll change or whatever, so who the fuck's words you're gonna take for this time? And the last thing I'm gonna talk about, probably the most detrimental thing, to be honest, relationships. Well, here we go. Here we fucking go. Where do I start with this? First, let me say how I feel about relationships in general. They are essentially traps. Now, by traps, I don't mean for me. I mean for people who are with me, okay? I've been in a total of 3... Actually, technically 2. I don't think the first one I was in counts. Anyways, only in a total of 2. Won't say any names, of course. Won't say any specific events or whatnot. And I feel that all I did was hurt the individual in question. And ever since all of that, I've basically, how do I explain it? I basically airstrike shield prison myself from even thinking about relationship stuff. I've literally hired a couple of my friends and told them that if I ever fell in love with anybody, that they would have to bonk me or do some sort of action to prevent me from feeling that way or to stop me, because genuinely, I don't want to hurt anyone. I know this is probably going to seem weird, just like, this is probably a weird topic to just bring up, but yeah, no. Relationships, I feel like all I do is just hurt people, and even though I know what not to do, brain go burr and it kind of fucking dumb. Brain works like a fucking grappler in a traditional fighting game. And you know the ones. Fucking Waldstein players, fuck off. The other things about relationships too is that my mind does not think straight with it. It's like I look back on certain events and I think about the past a lot and how I wish I could go back and change to either make me say different things or to make me do different things. I'm sure all of us, at least once in our lives, have wished we could go back to change a specific thing we've done or whatever, but regardless of what we think or what we want, we can't go back in time and change anything. As great as an ability as that would be, it's just not possible. It really is not. It also kind of has to do with the mistakes I've made in the past and whatnot, and how I haven't forgiven myself for that. I look back at some of the things and I think to myself, why did I do this? What was my brain going through when I was saying all this shit? And I don't know. All I truly want is to basically make sure that everybody's happy. I mean, that's kind of what I wanted for the longest time. I never really cared about myself at all, at least not in comparison to other people. If other people are sad, especially if they're like my closest friends or whatever, why should I be happy? It's kind of my mindset really, and it's a bad mindset, truly, but the only way how I really give myself happiness or anything is if my other friends or family are happy, which, yeah, actually as a bonus topic for family, I do not interact with them too much. Do I want to? Yeah, but do I? No. Why is that? Because our interests are about as fucking far as the release date for fucking PSO2 from the launch of the Japanese servers to the fucking NA release. But I don't want to really dig too deep into that one. Hell, I'm not going to dig deep into the topic I was just talking about, because at the end of the day, it's really up to me to improve on that shit. But you know, my mindset and everything else just chooses not to. And even when I do try to make things better, I honestly end up hurting myself a lot more. There are just nights to where I just like stay awake and just think I'm a fucking worthless piece of shit, really. I think that everything I've done has just been for nothing but to hurt people, and that I can't do anything about it. It sucks. It really does. But it's what I gotta deal with, really. And again, I can make things better if I apply myself and everything. The problem is, when I do apply myself, I need to find ways that doesn't hurt me or anybody else. And it's really, really hard to explain. I don't really know how much to say it. But yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about for this video. Again, this was mainly just a checkup video, sort of say. Basically just going on about what's been going on in my life recently. Maybe I'll make another video like this in the future, maybe not. But I mean, this is kind of just something I wanted to make just for fun. I still have the Mario 3D World video that I need to edit and some other stuff I wanted to get working on, along with a special video involving VTubers. I'm not doing anything with other VTubers, but the topic does involve VTubers, so if you guys like VTuber stuff, well hey, there's something to look forward to, I suppose. But anyways, if you guys did decide to stay here and listen to my rambling, first I just want to say thanks, and also how. But also just, you know, thank you for listening, you know? If you're a friend who is watching this video, just know, you know, I obviously love you, and you're an amazing person, whoever you are. You know who you are if you're a friend of mine and you're watching. And you will get a fucking hug from me. If you don't accept it, then I'm going to bonk you so that way I can hug you. Because you can't escape if you have a concussed head. I have such aggressive love, what the fuck? But yeah, I hope you guys have a good afternoon, night, morning, you know, whatever it is where you're at. Y'all just be sure to have a good one.
then jag får ha så gott.